Hi,
Words.
everyone.
Words.
Hello.
It's always us two, isn't it?
It's why is it always you three? Well, two specifically.
If we had Andy's holding up our various cameras, we would have had the full trio. It is
Well, we did have the full
indeed.
trio earlier because we had Andy doing a breaking news earlier today, as it is. But as it is right now, Saudi Arabia has purchased WWE reportedly. So, just in case you aren't aware of all the news that's happened lately, Vince McMahon has come back to WWE and put himself back in power as chairman and everything, back on the board of directors, specifically because he wanted to facilitate a sale of the company. And a lot of reports at the time figured that this would be a fairly lengthy process because selling a company takes a while. And immediately we are now getting reports of the sale of the company being done. Now, earlier tonight, Stephanie McMahon resigned as co-CEO of WWE, and she was like, "Hey, I went on a leave of absence a few months ago, but after Vince left, I became co-CEO, and now he's back. I don't need to do this anymore, so I'm going to go back on my leave of absence, but also permanently, because I'm going to resign and I'm going to leave the company." And then we started getting a lot of tweets on the Twitter sphere from other wrestling journalists being like, "Oh, big news coming." And we've started to get some initial reports of what that might be. So initially, this was Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net that said, "For what it's worth, I'm told the Saudi deal is done and they're taking the company private." So that was the first initial report about Saudi Arabia potentially buying the company. And now Stephen Muehlhausen, as well, of DAZN, is saying WWE has been sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. The company will go back to being private. Unknown if Vince McMahon will return to head of creative, but it is expected by some people. So while there hasn't been like a press release or anything of that sort right now, definitely seems like it's going that direction. A lot of wrestling journalists have hinted that they've heard news and that they can't say anything on the record right now, but they're trying to gather information. There was a report from Kermit on Reddit, who has a pretty decent track record. It's not 100%, but it is a pretty decent track record. Him saying that WWE was sold. There just feels like there's a lot of evidence pointing in this direction. Hot dog, gang. This is wild. This is absolutely insane. You know how last year, Tempest, when the news
Yeah.
broke that Vince McMahon retired, and we were like, "This is the biggest wrestling news story of all time."
Yep.
I think this is the biggest wrestling news story of all time.
We made it 10 days into 2023. I was gone for 2 weeks, and look what happened. What happens in 2 weeks? Christ on a biscuit. So, what I mean, there are so many angles and different directions to possibly take this conversation. For like, it is the biggest news story in wrestling ever. This gets, this is confirmed, and it's confirmed by, we got sources saying things. When there's a press release put out by WWE officially announcing their sale to the Saudi Arabian government or I
Public
forgot
Investment
what
Fund. Thank you
public
very
investment
much.
fund. Thank you. I knew there was a term for it. I couldn't remember what
Yeah.
it was off the top of my head. It is also nearly 4 a.m. for us, so sleepy a little bit, but the news is newsing. So, I mean, what do you even want to talk about first with this? I mean, like, you because it almost feels trivial to look at this from like a wrestling perspective. Like, on one hand, yeah, you have a lot of people's excitement in the product that will be
Mhm.
affected by this and news and such. Before we went on, we talked about like the bloodline storyline with Sami Zayn and whatnot, and what this will mean for that, and how that likely will not be getting the same sort of resolution if it
Mhm.
goes through and such. But it almost just feels unimportant,
Mm.
like it is a chunk of this
Yeah.
conversation for sure, because that is the product that they are buying. But at the same time, for the love of all that is good in the world, like, what was so wrong about how things were a month ago? You know, like,
Yeah.
Vince McMahon sees the way that things are going, and he saw Bronson Reed crush Dexter Loomis and said, "You know what? Enough's enough. I
Mhm.
can't stand this anymore." And now we're here. And this old bastard, this
Mhm.
old ass man who's been forced into retirement for heinous things that he has done, just can't piss off to his mansion and retire.
Yeah.
That's too much. I don't even want to think about the aspect of the some expect Vince to return to creative. I don't even want to think about that aspect of it, but like,
Mhm. That would
we've
suck.
got so many people that work for this company that are good people and are unrelated from Vince McMahon and his antics, that have made so many hate WWE for years for various reasons. There are people that work in the production department. There are people who work on the road crew. There are the techs. There are cameramen. There are every single person that you don't know the name of, whose livelihood has now been affected by this,
Mhm. Yeah.
by millionaires and billionaires just whipping their dicks out. And why? Like, oh, I can't deal with this one.
Yeah.
Like,
I uh
it
I
would
wouldn't
be
be
one thing if he
surprised.
came back and just sold it to someone, to some
Mhm.
other rich guy. Who
Yeah.
cares at that point? Like, but you really had to sell your company to the blood money folk.
Mhm.
You know?
The thing is, like you say, from a wrestling perspective, from a storyline, from a product perspective, it's not great. But this feels like the more unimportant angle, because when you look at certain people like women's wrestlers, when you look at certain people
Mhm.
like LGBT wrestlers,
Yep.
when you look at that side of things, this is a ton of people's livelihood that will be completely ruined by this. And this will be, I don't want to over exaggerate. I don't want to get into big speculation of what's going to happen, but could this be like the death of the company? I don't know what Saudi's gonna do with the company if they once they have it. Like, are they just gonna be like, well, we'll just continue it as is. We'll own it, but you guys just do your thing and you run it. You just make us money. That's fine. I don't know how hands on they're gonna be. I don't know how much influence they're going to have over like the day to day in WWE and all that stuff. This could be the end of WWE as we know it. This could just be another day in the office. I don't know. We don't know right now how wild this is going to be. But regardless, this is significant to say the least.
I
I,
I, I
I,
think that's
I,
fair.
I don't think it's just going to be like, well, we'll barely even know it happened. You know, I don't think it's going to be that. Funnily enough.
for what it's worth, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, of course, is not
Mhm.
reporting this news has been confirmed, but he has noted as of 5 minutes ago on Twitter that Bovada, which I believe is also
Mhm.
Bovada.net, I could be wrong, but it's a betting website, saying Bovada, which sent Fightful betting odds just hours ago on who would buy WWE, is no longer taking bets on it. So
Yeah.
again, there are bits.
Yeah, which, funnily enough, Bovada also sent me the same betting odds to be like, "Hey, look, we're doing betting odds for this thing." It's like, "Oh, bet you regret that now." Well, maybe
I don't
they
know. I
don't.
don't
Maybe
know.
people
Maybe
lost a lot
not.
of
Maybe a
money.
lot of people
But,
dropped some money on it. Okay,
yeah, I
so
wouldn't be surprised. But
here's another aspect of this that I would like to address here, because this saddens me on such a level for another particular reason, and it's the same. Like, I saw a lot of people starting to get their jokes off on Twitter and stuff, like, a couple hours ago when this news was starting to come out. Like, some people were getting their shots off and everything, and like apparently Tony Khan was really looking at this and being like watching the situation closely, and everyone's like, "Do it, TK, do it." And I chuckle, sure, but at the same time, I very much did not want anything like that to happen, because it's the same exact thing that we were plagued with for so long in wrestling, and that was a lack of options for people in the business to go and get work. Now, WWE is obviously not out of business or anything. We don't even know what the business is going to look like as of tomorrow, as of Friday Night SmackDown. We don't know what any of that looks like right now. But I would have to imagine that this move probably makes WWE a less enticing option to sign with for a significant portion of the wrestling community, the wrestling, I don't know, just industry, the talent. The talent will possibly be without a place to turn to. And for the longest time, the place where you could go and get the most money. Probably go and still get a sizable contract at the moment, but it really bothers me that deals between millionaires and billionaires and whatnot could mean that all of a sudden there's another place less to sign with if you are a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Whatever that situation might be, I don't like that. I'm really kind of sad about it.
Yeah. I have too many thoughts, unfortunately, in this little old brain. And I think we should probably exercise caution when it comes to talking about this kind of stuff. I can see a lot of extrapolation going on in the live chat and everything, and I think we should not necessarily talk about that. And also, we should just kind of take aside the whole tribalism thing. This isn't about WWE versus AEW thing. This is just, we want wrestling to be good, and this isn't. You would assume this isn't going to make wrestling good.
I wouldn't think this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but based on an educated guess based on history, I would anticipate that this probably isn't the best move for. It probably is a very good move in terms of making money for WWE. Well, making money for Vince McMahon is probably a very good move. But I would anticipate that this might not be the best move for the wrestling industry. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to thrive. That's what we want to see succeed more than any one individual company, more than any one individual wrestler. We want to see wrestling succeed because it's a thing that we all like. and it's a thing that we all want to see do well. And this is not the way to do it, especially because this is coming off the back of a great wave of momentum for WWE and what that means for, and how like all of this kind of came together in terms of Triple H taking over, which is something the fans desperately wanted for years, being rewarded for all of your patience, for all of the anticipation of Vince McMahon retiring, Triple H taking over. It's okay, guys. Don't worry. You've put in your dedication to this company, and it will pay you back. All this dedication will pay you back. Don't you guys worry. And then this happens. You know, it's not ideal, basically, and it feels like this is kind of. I don't want to talk about it because I know they don't care. I know they don't care about the fans really, but it does feel like a bit of a kick in the dick to just be
What do you
like,
mean?
well,
We're the authority.
Never
We're the
mind
authority.
all
We made
that.
this.
We're the authority. We made this happen. But yeah. God. But I guess, by the way, if you guys have any thoughts, I don't know if we're doing Ultra Chats. Probably.
I'd reckon probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know. Shout out to William Regal, I guess. Poor guy.
You know how
sucks.
Me and Luke did a podcast that was going to be the Content Club episode for last week.
Mm-hmm.
That we then delayed to the Sunday because we had other news to talk about instead. And we were talking about like, did Sasha Banks make the right decision to not go back to WWE and to go to New Japan? Because, there's this big wave of momentum in WWE right now. I was like, I think she probably made the right call. Probably made the right idea,
Smartest person in the business right now. Like, oh man. What is there even really to say?
You know what there is to say? I'll tell you what there is to say.
What is there to say?
Fuck. That's what there is to say.
Happy birthday, Alex, Queen of the Ring. This is what you wanted.
I've just been informed by Mod Mother that we can do Ultra Chats. So send them in to WrestleTalk.com/support. If you have comments and thoughts and feelings, send them in. Because we can talk about them. Yeah. God.
Yeah.
This is this sucks. This is real bad.
I never thought I'd be seeing the day, And here we've got WWE being sold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I consider it very much in the same line of thinking as Vince McMahon stepping down, which I guess should have been a sign of something. Because
yeah,
like, what in the world? Who could have predicted the last 12 months? Like, my God.
Who could have predicted the last 8 months? More than that? When was it? Like June? When all this went down? When Vince McMahon retired initially? Good God. Yeah. And the thing is, the other aspect of this that we should probably mention is that it's not just being sold to Saudi Arabia and all that, but it's taking the company private again.
Mm-hmm.
It will now then not be a publicly traded company, which when you're a publicly traded company, you have certain responsibilities. You have a bit more pressure from outside influences on the company. And this speculation on my part, sorry gang, feels like it's to cover Vince's ass from outside sources, outside influences, let's call it. Like Stephanie McMahon said, when Vince McMahon was talking about coming back, it harmed like sponsorship deals and other stuff that the company was doing at the time. because they didn't want to work with Vince McMahon. When you're a privately owned company, you don't have the same level of outside pressure. So take that for what you will, is all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, God damn, I can hardly form a coherent thought at this point. Yeah, that really is like I think for like most people that's going to kind of be the detail that gets lost in the shuffle here. The
Mhm.
publicly traded company, privately, public, private, that whole thing. I think that'll probably be the thing that gets lost in the shuffle of a lot of this because it's like it's boring business stuff that like, oh, give me the real wrestling news. The crazy owner has sold the company. Is the Crown Prince going to be on Raw on the double screen like Nitro? Is wrestling? Oh my god! But like, it really is like kind of insane that like everything that you just said is something that is like happening. Like I've seen some people again theorize and speculate and such that like, man, Vince McMahon being off TV away from WWE, all it did was give him, 6-8 months, be able to negotiate out of sight, out of mind, have whatever conversations he wants. It's real interesting. It's real interesting. I don't know that we'll get the story of everything that's happened behind the scenes and leading up to this, but oh my lord, would it make for an interesting book? Like what I have no idea. Like I tweeted at some point that in like August or something that I wanted the last 12 months of Triple H's life to be turned into a book or a movie or something like that. Like,
yeah.
What in the world? That movie's got a sequel. It's never ending now. Good lord.
Yeah.
I thought we were wrapping up and we were only in the first act. Like we got another whole cycle coming through here. Oh my god, like the last year of WWE is unfathomable. It's incomprehensible. And this we're people that have lived it week to week and day to day and covering news and just being like, surely the news has got to stop at some point. Surely.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And the thing is as well, like people have been speculating about how this will impact. Granted, like, fans will be talking about the fan perspective of things and they're talking about how this is actually going to affect the product that they will watch. And that's understandable. I don't know. And we don't know how much influence they're going to have on the product. You'd expect some degree of it. To what degree, we don't know. Whether they're just going to let them carry on mostly as they were and make the odd change here and there, don't know. But you'd assume it's so hard to separate the resignation of Stephanie McMahon with this deal. It's too... The timing is too close together to have them be separate incidents.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing in my mind says that they're unrelated.
Yeah, exactly. I think whether this was a form of protest to be like, I don't want to be here when this deal happens, or whether this is, I've got my money now, peace out. I don't know. But you'd assume that her husband also has some sort of, you'd assume they at least think somewhat the same, being married and all. There's at least some sort of crossover in there.
Speak.
Yeah, exactly. Some sort of crossover in their thoughts and feelings. So how that's gonna impact, Tripps's role in the company, or his thoughts about the creative, or how this is going to impact all that stuff. I don't know, man. This is Vince's lethal dose of poison, man.
Damn it! I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
NWO is coming in. I just saw scrolling Twitter for updates, of course, and Pommy Wrestling is a very, very good follow. Tweeting out every major news story of 2023. January 10th, Jinder Mahal returns to NXT. January 10th, numerous reports and rumors that WWE has been sold to Saudi Arabia. I wonder which of those two is the biggest news story of the day. Crikey. Yeah.
God.
Man. This is
as an
tough.
update from Sean Rossap as well, by the way, just tweeted. He said, nobody in WWE has confirmed this yet. Some have said they don't believe it. So there's no confirmation with inside the company right now, but other reports are saying that it has in fact gone through. So we'll wait and see.
Again,
but this, yeah,
I'm trying to tread lightly here because it's like there isn't a press release. We haven't got the confirmation from like a Dave Meltzer, a Sean Rossap, whoever, etc. But we also heard from people in WWE a week ago that it's business is normal. Everybody, no executives are getting fired.
Yeah.
Of course they're gonna say that.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, so much excitement. Like, I get that also, like, Sean has to say that, not upset of Sean, by any means. But, like, anybody who might take that and be like, see, they said it's not true. Be like, yeah, well, also, think one step further a little bit. Lord.
So for clarity, for people who have joined recently since not the start of the stream, it was first came in by Cassidy Haynes of bodyslam.net that said, for what it's worth, until the Saudi deal is done and they're taking the company private. This was then backed up by who's the I'm sorry, it's 4 a.m. My brain is a bit mushed. It was Steve Muehlhausen from DAZN that then said, so I'm just finding the tweet here so I don't misquote it. Sources: WWE has been sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. The company will go back to being private. Unknown if Vince McMahon will return to head of creative, but it is expected by some people. So those are the two big reports right now about it. Those are the sources that are reporting it right now. And both of them have pretty decent track records. These aren't nobodies in the wrestling world. These are pretty decent sources as it is. So this definitely feels like it has legs. This isn't just some rumor that's being blown out of proportion. So yeah, I guess now we're just kind of waiting for, and I don't think it would be immediate, but we're waiting for some sort of announcement or more reports from other people that it has gone through. But goodness me, gang, this is sure is something in it. And technically, for us, it's the 11th day of January right now.
Yeah, we made it we made it like 10 in a few hours. Way to go. We didn't even make it 10 days. It was still before midnight when the Stephanie news broke. Oh well. 2023. I ended my my controversial moment list in December, being like, yes, and now a nice easy 2023. Yeah, no, all right. So just at least in 2022, we had until like Cody leaving for the first big bit, and that was like 2 months into the year. That was
Mhm.
ridiculous. They gave us
Yeah.
2 months to ease
Yeah.
into 2022. Christ.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. What other bits of this are there? Like, there's so much stuff. You think about like the people's involvement that, well, if all this goes through, you presume not going to happen anymore. I don't think you see The Rock at WrestleMania. I don't think you see John Cena at WrestleMania.
See,
These are people that don't. Well, The Rock is The Rock, but like John Cena doesn't go to Saudi Arabia shows.
he didn't go to Saudi Arabia shows, but he's a very Vince McMahon guy. So if it's just like, oh, the Saudi Arabia owners, but there's no like outward
I
influence
don't
on the show,
know.
rather than
He's not a Vince McMahon
knows,
guy
man.
now. He's a Hollywood guy now.
That's true. That's true.
And you know what? I listen to Hollywood a lot more than I listen to Vince McMahon, and Hollywood cares about this sort of thing. You know,
Yeah.
Rock and Roman, huh? Building to it for almost 3 years. We'll see. We'll see.
Goodness me. Yeah.
Hey, Okada said he wanted to wrestle The Rock. Maybe we can get that. Maybe that'll cheer me up.
Yeah, get that at Dominion. Why not?
Yeah, why not? If you can't have WrestleMania, what's
just have The
next
Rock
best
show up
thing?
in New Japan.
Yeah.
Crazy. Should we do some ultra chats?
Sure.
Let's see what people think, shall we? Oathkeeper65 said, Sean is saying over on the Fightful show that the Saudi rumor is still just that right now. A rumor, we don't know for certain. All we're doing right now are catastrophizing the worst case scenario based on a Reddit post. There is more than a Reddit post. There are 2 reports from reputable news sources. So this is a bit more substantial than that, because if this was just Kermit posting to Reddit, WWE is sold, that's a rumor at best. But there are legitimate news sources that are talking about this. So this is important, I think. Robert Waters said, I have to believe Vince had this deal in his back pocket in case of controversy, sell to Saudi. I don't know.
Not immediately present, but the last 6 months may have had something to do with it. That is total speculation, but I don't know.
Yep.
I can't try and explain what goes on in Vince McMahon's mind. I can't explain any of the last 2 weeks of what he could have been thinking or trying to do or whatever. Like, I can't. Trying to explain the brain of Vince McMahon is, and if Sigmund Freud would jump out a window.
Yeah. Good. Sorry, I've lost my tab. Flaming said, I went from I'll quit watching wrestling if I get another breaking news. That lasted 30 seconds. Now I'm hearing the Saudis. FFS, I'm so done with WWE. If I watch any wrestling now, it's New Japan. Why couldn't Tony Khan buy them? That's not a good thing. I'm one of the naysayers of Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. Like, it's cool and all, but it is also a billionaire buying up other wrestling companies, which probably shouldn't happen. But that's just me. Anyway.
Yeah, you were the one guy who was like, yeah, but what does that mean? He bought Ring of Honor. What are you going to do with that? And everyone's like, oh, shut up, Pete. Shut up, Pete. What are you talking about? You just bought Ring of Honor. It's awesome. What? Shut up, Pete. And then 2022 happened.
Then Tony Khan was like, I'm not doing Ring of Honor. I was like, see, gang? That's why I need to think things through.
No. Everyone just stop buying and selling wrestling companies. This is bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Just keep them. Yeah.
Can we just can everyone just like pass TNA around a few more times instead? Like that's the extent of wrestling companies being bought and sold that I care for now. Oh my god.
Oh man. Your local metalhead said, I feel bad for everyone in this company. Vince is an idiot. Take my money that was going towards my Peacock subscription. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Joker, great name. Can you imagine being Sami Zayn right now? His boss legitimately banned him from the home country. Yeah, disgusting. I agree. That's yeah. Marlboro 420, great name. What about Sami Zayn? Hasn't done a Saudi show ever. Doesn't support Saudi Arabia. Yeah, there's a lot of talk of Sami Zayn on this show, and I think that's probably amplified more because he's in that huge bloodline story. He's at the
He's the
forefront of people's
best thing
minds
in
right now.
wrestling.
Yeah.
He's the best
Yeah.
thing in wrestling, and people have like never been more connected to Sami Zayn on the main roster than they have been right now.
On the SmackDown podcast this past Saturday, I said that the Bloodline story is my favorite wrestling story of all time. Which, yeah, is a shame if it doesn't get the ending that it deserves. Zeppelin 2144 said, wouldn't suck so bad if WWE was still hot trash, but just as it was getting good again and about to probably have its best year in forever.
Well,
there is that from a fan perspective, yeah.
I'm not going to say that you're wrong because, yeah, it is worse. It is worse than that, but like, still bad. It'd still be bad if this happened like, 9 months ago, right after WrestleMania. Yeah. Vince is still in charge. There's no hope for nothing.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Yeah. Sucks real bad.
I don't know, man. The Pain Train said, Vince injected the lethal dose of poison back in 2002. 21 years later, it's finally taken effect. Good Lord.
Oh, God. It was a long con. Holy smokes.
Must have been. Graf said, I just wanted to listen to the Final Battle podcast. Hey, that's from our Patreon page. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Feels weird to plug that here. Just wanted to listen to the Final Battle pod and organize my Yu-Gi-Oh collection, and I get this notification. Wrestling fans can't have anything nice, can we? I really don't know what to think anymore. Gonna go bury myself in cars. #LIW, I guess.
Yeah. Read the next one. Hang on one sec.
Okay. Derek Ayala said, I'm curious what this means with Fox and NBC TV deals. Do they want to associate themselves with controversy like this? Well, it seems that there was TV negotiations coming up soon anyway. So who knows? That's a whole other aspect to this thing, is what's going to happen with any of the TV deals and stuff they have.
Yeah. Very quickly, can you go back in Ultra Chat for me?
So it said, wanted to listen to my Final Battle pod and organize my Yu-Gi-Oh collection. And I get this notification. Wrestling fans can't have anything nice, can we? Really don't know what to think anymore. I'm going to go bury myself in cards.
Yeah. Didn't expect this to be something I wanted to bring up very quickly on a podcast like this. But do you remember during the Survivor Series live reactions when we learned of the existence of Dino wrestlers and crap like that in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah. Look at that.
Dino wrestler.
Marshall and Kylo.
Yeah, he's got big ankles or something. Yeah. Holly Musgrave got me these. She's wonderful. Yeah.
That's
amazing. Anyway, Dino wrestling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I'm with you, buddy. You and me both. We're just wishing we could be organizing our Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I mean, I wish I was sleeping, but second to that is organizing my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, for sure. Vandalia 1998 said it was in the family for 3 generations, and instead of letting the next generation buy it from him like he bought it from his dad, looks like a whole new family has it that might have more issues than even Vince.
Yeah, there is that in it.
There is that.
I at one point, I forget who said it, but somebody, like an old wrestling figure, like over a decade ago, this is like 12 years ago, was asked why Shane left WWE. And they said, with no real knowledge of the situation, just having known about all of the people involved and such, they said that they think more than anything, Shane McMahon's biggest goal in life was to be his dad. And then he realized he couldn't be his dad, so he left. That's getting more and more true. Like, as years go by, like, sorry, Shane, you were never getting this company. Stephanie and Triple H aren't even getting the company at this point. We're going to the other side of the world to the successor of Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Oh.
Aaron Smith said 2023, huh? What a year so far, and only 11 days in. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H to AEW confirmed. Far out this year is going to be a ride. Well, yeah, it sure is going to be a ride. Whether that ride is good or bad is up to your perspective, I suppose.
You remember, you know how like going over the end of the year stuff, and we're like, oh boy, remember when Steve Austin was going to wrestle WrestleMania? That's not even one of the 10 biggest news stories of the year.
Yeah.
You think in like 10 months we're going to be looking back and be like, oh gee, you remember when Vince sold the company to Saudi Arabia? doesn't even register anymore.
Surely
We've had
not.
so many other big news stories in 2023. Like that one.
Surely not.
Flies right under the radar.
What could possibly be bigger than this? I've just jinxed it.
Way to go. You went, yeah, it wasn't going to happen now.
There's now going to be something crazy.
There you go, Pete.
I don't know. Oh, goodness me. Nick CV Jello said, my heart sank hearing this. Feel terrible for the women and Sammy. Not an AEW guy, but might have to become a fan after this. Yeah.
Just go support your local indie.
Support wrestling.
Just
whatever form that
wrestling.
takes.
Just buy a t-shirt. Go buy your favorite wrestler's shirt. Buy an autograph, or
why not?
Venmo them $15 for a coffee or something today. Something like that. Exactly. Just like
Monkey Chow 01 said, bidding more of 2024. Your thoughts around how all that changes? Did MJF just lose storyline leverage? It feels incredibly unimportant right now, but I guess so.
Yeah. You know, of all the angles that we could take this conversation, that one did not occur to me, even for a moment.
Yeah.
Even for a moment.
Because it does kind of hinge on WWE being good. That is the crux of the argument, really. But hey ho. Sebastian also has the same thought.
He was making the same jokes like Grand Slam last year and stuff.
The thing is, I think a lot of people saw them as jokes, whereas lately people were like, "Oh, this is legit. Like he could actually go because WWE is a good company right now." And now it's just like, "Oh, well, he's staying at AEW, isn't he?" Like I'm sure he was anyway, but whatever. Sebastian had the same thought. What does this mean for MJF being more 2024? I don't think MJF leaving for WWE is feasible anymore. Sure.
Yeah. I know where I would go. Shout out to Jay White as well, who apparently is getting big interest from major companies in the US.
Yeah.
I can't speak for him, but this would make my decision easier.
Yeah. Goodness me. Where did I get to? K-Bar said, the saddest thing about this, if it's true, is that it's taken away opportunities and options from wrestlers and fans. Truly disappointing. I agree. Fluffy Panda said, what does it mean for Sami Zayn? Wasn't allowed on any of those shows. Like you mentioned, the women's division. If you're a free agent, how much does this change your mind? Well, that's going to be person to person, isn't it? But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jordan Rimpela said, I'm sincerely done with WWE, and I hope that others follow through on the strong objections they voiced after what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. Never mind what Saudi continues to do to Yemen.
Yeah. I mean, you always try and avoid what would be considered political topics, even though I wouldn't really consider death and destruction or whatever political. But it's like that's a whole other separate side of this that is just, I guess it'll have to be discussed at certain points. Like, you know, if that's the owner of the company and things start possibly changing, you start having to have those conversations. But like, man, I mean, I don't know how the diehard WWE fans are sleeping tonight. I hope it's well. I hope they slept before this news came out, because I mean, it's not who I would want owning my company.
Random Nerds Talking said, I'm honestly just scared for people's jobs. Members of the LGBTQ+, women, anyone who does not agree with Saudi. It just makes it feel like a kick in the dick. I just hope people stay employed. Thanks, boys, for doing this. LAW for life. Thank you. I can't read Welsh. Simrake Punk. Sorry. Sorry. Thank you for your ultra chat. I won't read it out just because it mentions some triggering topics, but appreciate it nonetheless. John Wick 1GM said, if this rumor turns out to be true, it will be incredibly difficult to get a rights deal done with American companies. There's no way that Fox and USA will deal with WWE. We don't know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
money talks. So
money talks, unfortunately, as this kind of goes to show.
Goodness me. Will Campbell said, there is a meme online where Michael Cole's holding a sign that says, in all caps, stop the pain. I feel that. I feel a lot of that right now. Good old heel Michael Cole from NXT.
Yeah, I love those signs. They were my favorite thing. Like when my biggest worry in the world was reviewing NXT.
Yeah. Cal L. Creed DB said, what if this is all fake? What if this is all a ploy to get Vince McMahon back in the good graces of wrestling fans? WWE announced a sale to Saudi Arabia. Fans don't want that. Vince gets voted back in and kills the deal. Biggest babyface of 2023. I don't think that's how history books will see it.
I don't agree with any of that.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, you killing the deal that you set up doesn't make you a babyface in this situation.
No. That is a bad supervillain plan.
Babyface. Yeah. Legit. Yeah. It's a Lex Luthor plan.
Yeah, it's syndrome.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna make them all give them all this thing that they hate. And then I'm gonna take that thing away from them, and then they'll love me.
Yeah.
All these people, they saw me give it to them. No.
Yeah.
No. Also, nothing can babyface Vince McMahon. Full stop.
Yeah. Full stop. I'm just Marcus said, remember when things were fun for like 7 months? Now I'm done with WWE and I worry for Sammy and others. Yes. Justin Anselmo said Vince thinks he benefits from this. TBH, he probably loses everything with this deal. You got to feel for the talent, especially Sami Zayn. Went from Mania main event to out of the company, and all the out of the company is not reported. That is just something that people are. Just to clarify, that's not a thing that's happened so far. No reports of that happening. All the women
didn't have reports he was in the main event of WrestleMania either.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's speculation too.
Yeah, all the women, LGBTQ, returning faces, etc. Please tell me it's fake. Anonymous says it's just insane that we live in the timeline where Vince was forced out of power, but then decided to hold WWE ransom in order to bribe his way back into power. I don't think that's the correct use of bribe, but close enough. WWE turned babyface 2 months ago, and then heel again in a matter of 2 hours. 2 months ago.
Yeah, timeline doesn't quite add up, but
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, interesting, isn't it? Like, it's one of the talking points that I came up with that I would bring up a lot when AEW was going through its struggles in the fall. Be like, listen, for a long time, WWE as a company was the heels, and now they're the baby faces, and people like it. And that's how you get goodwill with the fans. Like, you babyface the company. You make the company, the entity itself, likable. You don't make the logo evil. You don't boo at the sight of the logo, the evil empire. You don't want to do that. And they were turning that ship around very quickly. And I would not believe how quickly they could have done another 180, going back in their terrible direction. I don't know what SmackDown looks like on Friday. If I had a ticket to SmackDown, I wouldn't go.
Yeah. Dwayne Jackson said, "Do you guys think we can expect better releases? Don't really want to speculate about people losing their jobs. It's possible, but like, I don't want to talk about it. Really, it's not going to be fun."
I mean, it was Vince McMahon's favorite thing to do. You know, I really hope not, but Vince McMahon comes back into power or some sort of power, and it's where my mind goes. Unfortunately, I'm like, oh Lord, I'm really sorry for all the other people involved. You know, the normal people that are just trying to do their jobs like normal people.
Yeah.
God damn.
From here, apparently, anyone that I say unknown user for whatever reason, Streamlabs, which is a thing we use to curate our donations and everything, apparently just didn't give us the username of anyone that I say is unknown user. So apologies. But unknown user says 37 years of my life with WWE. Every up and down I had, it was mirrored by WWE memories. It's been a life's calendar of sorts. This would be devastating if true. Imagine hearing Disney was sold to the Saudis. This changes the landscape of pro wrestling overall. I can agree.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I hope they give Max Caster a mic tomorrow. That's just me.
Goodness me. Jim Khan Suvong said, "Damn, I really hope that this isn't true. What is the Saudi government going to do to the company? On top of that, he has people within his family to take over the company and make it more profitable than it is. I wonder what the employees/talent are thinking. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough." Matthew Crozier said, "First off, will this be the start of the end for WWE? Second, Vince can go to hell. And finally, Tony Khan to buy WWE not confirmed."
Who can go to hell?
Vince.
Okay. I heard Bix, and I was like, the hell did David Bixenspan do to you?
Yeah, what a big stick. Leave Bix alone.
Yeah.
Mark said, "Hey, an upside. There's just enough time before the pay-per-view to change it to the Greatest Royal Rumble 2. On a serious note, this is horrible. Everyone in the company is in danger, particularly the LGBT women and those of certain faiths and heritages." I agree with that.
That was a good joke.
That was a good joke.
But apparently those don't count.
They don't. They shouldn't count. No, they don't.
Go watch.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. They shouldn't, but they do. Go watch Survival Series on Parts of Unknown.
It's good. Try to name every Royal Rumble winner. It's fun. Tony Ramos said, "More about Sami Zayn and the women's division. I mean, will they still be allowed to perform? Will they even want to work for them or anyone from the LGBTQ community? If they banned them, I will never watch WWE ever again." Fair enough. Unknown user said, "Not that it makes all the bad stuff okay, but if the company is going private again, does that mean they can bring back the cursing and blood without worrying about the stockholders and sponsors? Yes, but that is hardly the priority right now." That is basically they don't have a board of directors anymore. They wouldn't have the other pressures to do with that. Technically, they could. I still think it's doubtful. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they do that or not. Unimportant is what I'd call that.
Yeah. I mean, it is part of the like private public thing that is an element to all this, you know. But again, like I just feel so weird talking about the product. Like how it looks on screen. Like, yeah, the differences are a good topic to discuss, I suppose, because you know you do look at things that have affected WWE's business over the last few years, and by few years I mean like decade plus, 15 years maybe, and it's really interesting because a lot of those outside factors are things like sponsorships. They are things like, you know, stockholders and stuff, you know, stuff like that. And how many times have we seen WWE go in a direction because of things like that? Whether they, you know, the PG era because of sponsors not liking blood or such.
Yeah.
It just, and throw in like TV rights fees and stuff, because again, all of the TV rights and whatever could very well end up being renegotiated for bigger sums and whatnot when those deals are up. But this changes the way that we look at how WWE does business. We don't even know how things change yet. You know, we don't know how things will change. But just from the public private thing, we know that things will then change because they have less people to answer to in that sense.
Yeah.
So, oh my lord. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much.
There's so much. Yeah. Ban Chan said, I'm sorry, it always seems like you guys have to cover the depressing topics. Hope the rest of your mornings are better. Take care, guys. Much love. Thank you. Unknown user says, I literally just got off work and saw this. Is this actually happening? Has WWE confirmed this? No. There are two reports right now from Cassidy Haynes of Body Slam and Steve Muehlhausen of DAZN. They're both reporting this. So take that for what you will. Oathkeeper65 said, maybe it's me trying to be optimistic, but this would kill WWE in the long run. Networks aren't going to want to do work with the Saudis. Feds might even get involved. Only two sources have confirmed, and this has been way too fast for a deal to be done. Maybe. Don't know. We don't.
Again, that's not necessarily based on a lot of things, you know, though. Like just saying that, like, it's too quick for a deal to be done. So that's based on us having no knowledge of a deal being negotiated outside of the last, however, you know, the last bid.
Yeah.
You know, again, that's not based on things. Yeah.
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 Graf said, you know, maybe wrestling isn't worth it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. Can't wait for the Yu-Gi-Oh! pod from you, Big T. Also, Pete's Avatar pod too, because at this point, I need some form of happiness in my life. Leave those memories alone, as they say. Funny you mentioned an Avatar podcast. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And it might not be one of us that's on screen that does it. Maybe it might be both of us. Maybe there might be someone else involved too. Who can possibly say? John Stopaction said, worried for the honorary Oos. At least Mansoor might get a better gimmick. Who knows? Mr. Cider said, hi guys, I was just wondering where Tempest was during the Wrestle Kingdom 17 live stream. Did he forget his mask? And was Hugh Laurie the man in the mask all this time?
I was in Canada.
Sure was.
I was home in my bed, sleeping.
Yes. And
like
then
a little baked muffin.
We did say at the time, we were like, so we're going to react to Omega versus Ospreay, right? And we were like, yeah. And we were like, it's a shame Tempest isn't here. I think he would have really enjoyed this. Well.
Next time.
Rocker Productions says it's currently 7:30 a.m. in Saudi Arabia. If confirming news will happen, one would think it would happen in the next couple of hours. That's not necessarily true because it might come from WWE side rather than Saudi Arabia side, but who knows? Unknown user said, if this news turns out to be true, do you see AEW beating WWE in the ratings anytime this year? News that doesn't seem important in the slightest, but curious as to your thoughts. I agree. It doesn't seem important in the slightest. Who knows?
However, I was having this thought. And my mind went down this rabbit hole 10 minutes or so ago. You know that I don't want to dog on Triple H here. He's probably not having the best night. But you know that really famous Triple H promo, the me and my friend Mark are going to stop watching. That promo and everything, and then everybody stopped watching. When you look at a lot of the different things that are the mass tune-out events of WWE, the ones where you can kind of see the overall viewership figure, like the steady average, just sort of get chipped away over the course of years, and all of a sudden, you know, the 4 and change million people that are watching Raw ahead of WrestleMania 30 is down to 1.4 or whatever a couple months ago, and everyone, or 1.5, and everybody's like, oh my god, how did we get here? It's because everybody turns off when shit like this happens. You know?
Yeah.
Not everybody. There's always going to be people that watch this show. But there are a lot of people who simply say enough is enough. And they might have made it through the Crown Jewel 2018 fiasco that saw a lot of people quit the WWE network. Legit, didn't even have to trend and all that. People just stopped watching, and all of a sudden they were like, uh-oh, I guess they didn't like that.
Oh dear.
And you just keep chipping away with bad booking and bad moves and the We're the Authority thing, and just one after another, you get all these things. This seems like a pretty big one. You know? Yeah. Maybe it looks absolutely no different on TV. Maybe you tune into SmackDown or Raw or whatever, and it's the exact same show. You'd never be able to tell. It's booked the exact same way. The whole deal. But there are still going to be loads of people that know, and this will be a deal breaker for them.
Mm-hmm.
And to tie it back into the Ultra Chat, does that mean that if AEW stays steady, WWE can't seem to fall? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's like 100th on the list of things today that are interesting about this, but a lot of people have been saying for a long time that there is a base for WWE. You can't go lower than this floor. And I think you lack imagination.
PCube32. I'm also going to say, because we've done this stream for over an hour now, I'm going to call an end to the Ultra Chats. So if you send in any more from now, they won't get read out. Because otherwise we will be here forever. Because people have a lot of thoughts. And I really appreciate all the Ultra Chats that are coming in. But it is 20 to 5 in the morning. So, you know, tired. So we want to wrap this up here soon. Because it doesn't seem like there's going to be any more news coming out imminently. If there is anything, it will be in a few hours' time or later in the day. Which, by the way, just as a quick aside, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because we're going to have more news about this as and when it does break. Stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com as well, which will have updates through the day too. So those are 2 places you should be for wrestling news. Subscribe here. Like the video if you're here, by the way. There's like 8,500 of you watching right now.
That's a lot.
So leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll finish these Ultra Chats that have already come in, but any that are sent in from now onwards will not get read out on the stream. Apologies. We do have to go at some point. PQ32 said, well, Vince outsmarted his entire board to make money and regain his position. I can see Sammy only wrestling in the States at this point. Saudi will still do a little PR, say they're moving forward. I think they'll keep 80% of the staff. Who knows?
Even still, you're cutting 20% of a workload of like a multi-billion-dollar company. Right after the holidays.
Yep.
Presumably.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Matthew Crozier said, if this isn't true, what effect do you think this will have on the stock price?
I don't know. I've never really been one to be able to analyze. I can't analyze the stock market. If I could, I would not be doing this job. Actually, I probably would. It would be a lot more fun than being a stockbroker or something. But like, yeah, this stock does funky things. You know, like you think it's like, oh man, that was like the lowest raw rating ever, and the stock goes up. It's like, oh, all right, guess it doesn't correlate that much, you know?
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Samuel Keith 170 said, I'm so sick to my stomach, guys. It's not even real. Yeah. SW said, just because WWE might be gone does not mean Triple H and Stephanie are gone. They can create their own company. And I imagine WWE getting sold could affect the validity of everyone's contracts too. Time will tell. No need to be sad. There may be a need to be sad, but we'll wait and see.
Mhm.
Anywho, Strange Enigma said, if this is true, New Japan is good again, AEW is good again, and WWE's back in the crapper. Did we go back in time?
You are only allowed 2 good wrestling companies at once.
No more.
If a third one creeps in there, the other one's got to go.
It's gotta go. You can't have more than two, man.
I have very similar thoughts about Toronto sports teams. Only 2 of them can be good at once. Never all 3.
And Impact doesn't count for whatever
Impact
reason.
does not count.
I don't know why. It just doesn't. Unknown user said SRS said on Fightful this could be nothing, and leaking on Twitter could be a public litmus test. Thoughts on that? I don't know.
It's a better, I don't know. It's a better outcome, I suppose, than this. But I mean, like, you still got Stephanie McMahon has resigned. This is coming from sources.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just, Twitter rumble.
No.
You know? If it ends up being things that are disproven and such, then it's like, yeah, there are people who have put their names on it and, like, effectively, put their reputations on this report and such. So, I mean, again, we will see what happens, but
yeah, it's there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, this is generally how wrestling news goes as it is. There's not a lot of stuff that's confirmed by the companies, unless it's big press releases and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not a lot of stuff that's actually confirmed by companies. It's a lot of people reporting stuff. People like Sean Ross Sapp and Cassidy Haynes and Steve Muhlhausen and Dave Meltzer and all these guys. They're reporting from their sources. And this is stuff that Steve Muhlhausen and God, my brain, Jesus Christ, and Cassidy Haynes have reported from their WWE sources. So this is as close as it gets in wrestling news, really.
Yeah, I mean, WWE still hasn't even announced the release of Mandy Rose.
Yeah,
like they don't do that now. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't do that. So, yeah.
On another note, continuing this, on another note, this probably makes decision making for people like Jay White a heck of a lot easier. Thank you for the great content. You'd assume so, wouldn't you?
You would just, you'd assume so. I would anyway.
Yeah. And Shagadoo as well. Thank you for your ultra chat. Yeah, I don't think I'll read it out, but thank you regardless. Appreciate it. Where were the other ones? There was a bunch up top from one user. From the SLID, lots of numbers. There's lots of ultra chats all in one, so I'll see if I can speed through this just because there was lots to go through. This all happened in 6 hours. It feels weird that Vince would do this. I honestly always thought he loved WWE more than even his own children. He loves money. That's what Vince loves. What does Vince actually care about? Money. That's what he cares about. Not to be nationalistic, it's really devastating seeing WWE sold to a Saudi company. So much history gone. If it wasn't your job to do so, would the sale impact your watching WWE? Yes.
I mean, sure. You can't get further below no. Like, I'm done forever watching it, but I also would have been done forever watching it when they went to Saudi Arabia the first time.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think this does for TV negotiations this year? Don't know. Is MJF's bidding war off? Don't know. We've talked about that. I don't know how anybody could feel as a company, a group of friends. I can't believe you all have to cover this, make money from this because it's your jobs. I just hate this. I stopped watching WWE for the Saudi stuff, so this is just bad. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be wild. 2023 is going to be a year. Sure is. And one last one from SLID that says, "That's it. 16 years of being a WWE fan down the drain. As part of the LGBT community, I can't support them any longer. I've got 1 month left at the WWE Network. Royal Rumble, the final dance. Let's go." Like, I don't know how anybody could feel, and that bit we already had. About us covering it for our jobs. We are arguably some of the least important people in this scenario. So people worried for us that we have to cover this and all that stuff, don't be, because we're fine. We're not important right now. I would direct your attention to possibly all the wrestlers that are going to be put out from this, and all the employees that might be under a lot of stress because the company might be changing hands, etc. But anywho, I think that's going to do it for this stream. I'll say it once again. Please subscribe, because we'll be covering everything. There'll be a news video later today as well, which will be done by Ollie Davis. Good day for him to cover. Ollie's going to have a field day with this one, I think. So there'll be a news video coming later today. Stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com as well. It will have all your updates up there. And stay tuned. Love each other. Be safe. And we'll see you guys on the other side, I suppose. Thank you, Tempest, for joining me for this early stream. You haven't got to bed yet. You should do that. I have been to bed, so now I guess I'm up.
Yeah. We're in the same time zone. That sucks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Pete.
I will
Thanks,
we'll see you guys. Thank you, chat, for joining us. We'll see you guys on the other side. Goodbye. Love
Fuck Vince McMahon.
That one.